Evening. Welcome to Cambridge High School. We're excited to get to know not only our students, but our parent community. I see a lot of familiar faces in our crowd, and that's a neat deal. So you can be of support to one another. I know that usually we do two of these, but as we have grown, we identified the need for doing things a little bit different. So if you want to watch back anything that happens tonight, check out our CIHS Facebook page, and we're on YouTube Live. So everything that I'm saying tonight, everything that's being presented tonight, you can watch over and over again, and students, you should watch it like 75 times. You'll have everything memorized. But one reason why we do this is you are going to get an absolute ton of information tonight. You will be overloaded with information. And that is absolutely intentional. We want to make sure that we give you a ton of information that allows you the opportunity to then process that information, and if necessary, reach out and ask questions so you can make sure that you're ready to roll as we look at registering for next school year. I haven't introduced myself. My name is Steve Gibbs. I'm one of the principals here at Cambridge High School. It's an honor to be here and serving you in this capacity. On behalf of our staff, welcome. You are coming in here. Jumped ahead too much. Class of 2024. 2024. You ever think you'd say that? I never thought I'd say the date, but you're the class of 2024. So that's pretty impressive. I know a lot of the parents probably graduated in the 80s and the 90s, and we look at 2024, and that's kind of insane to us, but that's what you are, and it's exciting. In a couple of months here, we're going to be graduating the class of 2020. And so it's just fun to welcome in new kids. It's fun to welcome you in and present information for you tonight. All right, as we look ahead, one thing that you'll want to be mindful of is we highly, highly value the complete student experience. And as I was walking in, I had the opportunity to see some coaches who coach for us. I see Mr. Krowski in the crowd, one of our band directors in the crowd tonight, Mr. Kennedy, one of our art teachers, Mr. Sullivan. As your principal, you will always hear me say the complete student experience is of high value. It is of high value. The more you do, studies say the better student academically you will be. So I would strongly encourage you to check out a lot of different things as you go through your high school experience. The more you can do, the better long term. And we don't believe, you'll hear me say this, students, I get a little bit preachy, we don't believe in failure, we believe in learning. Failure is growth. So if you try something that doesn't work, guess what? You know. But if you don't try something, you'll never know. So always be willing to try something new. All right, just want to hear that right away from me. So activities here, the activities that we have here, I'm not even going to begin to name. One of the great things of having a larger high school is we have a ton of activities. And that is, again, to your advantage. If you see something on there that you go, that's for me, dive all in and learn about the activity. If you don't see something that interests you, this happens every single year. I'll have kids come into my office and say, Gibbs, can we check out this activity? My answer is usually yes. We have to find some ways to work through to get that implemented, but we want to explore every opportunity to give you the complete student experience here at Cambridge High School. So that's some activities. Here are some sports activities. Again, the last week I was talking to Mr. Solberg. He said we offer 46 Minnesota State High School League sponsored activity. 46. That is a really neat deal. And so if there's not an activity that you can find, talk to us. We'll get you connected because your connection in this building is critical to your success. Just don't show up and just think you can only be a student. We want more from you, and you want more from you. I can promise you that. So be a complete student. You ready for this, parents? No? Man, I've got a 10-year-old at home, and I'm fearing the day I have to talk about this. We're here. Driver's training information. It can be found at the link below, and this is on our website. And Community Ed, you can reach out and learn more about that. But Community Ed offers driver's training, and the sessions are offered all year. So check the website for information. But students, here you are. And I'll talk to you students for a second. We talk a lot about the Blue Jacket way here at Cambridge-Estany High School. If you follow me on Instagram or Twitter, you'll see that I talk about true Blue Jackets all the time. When you look at this slide, the key word that should come to your mind, students, responsibility. Responsibility. So start thinking about how have I showed that I'm a responsible 14, 15, 16-year-old as I go through here, and what have I done to earn the right to get behind the wheel, because that's a pretty important deal for our kids. It's a pretty scary deal for our parents, too. So we are on a trimester schedule. Jumped ahead a slide, I'm sorry. We have 9th grade orientation. So if you have been through this, it's fine. But we are on a 9th grade orientation. We have what's called Link Crew here. And it's one of the coolest deals. If you went to Cambridge Middle School or Estany Middle School, you're familiar with Web, where everyone belongs. And we have Link Crew here. And that's only a day, the first day of school, is reserved for our freshmen. And what we have is we have our seniors and our junior leaders come and support you, connect with you, start to build those connections, those mentor-type relationships, and show you around the building. We want, when everyone comes back that second day of school, we want you to feel that you're going to be successful here. Because we understand, we've got 1,600 kids in this building. It can be a little bit freaky. If you're coming in the first day, it's a little bit scary. But we want to make sure that first day is just freshmen and new students to us, so that day is just yours. So if you look ahead to that, just be planful for that the first day is just for freshmen, and we are doing Link Crew activities on that day. So we are on a trimester schedule. If you go to CMS, IMS, or MNC, you're familiar with this schedule. We're on a trimester schedule, and it's a 3 12-week sessions. We are on a 5-period day. We have 5 classes a day, plus something called direct-to-site. I'll talk a little bit about that next. And our classes are 60 minutes long. And the year-long classes typically will be 2 out of 3 trimesters. So if you think of a year-long class right now, you might not have it 2/3 of the year. That's how we function at Cambridge-Estany High School. So we would call a year-long class 2/3 trimester. So just be planful as you're looking at registering and it says a year-long class. That's really a 2/3 year-long class. So just be thoughtful as you're looking ahead to that. I talked a little bit about directed study, and know this is kind of an ongoing, evolving process that we're looking at how we can continue to maximize our 25 minutes, but we're using that for school initiatives. Sometimes on Fridays, our PBIS team does something fun for that, but the biggest time that we utilize that for is academic growth. We want to get better as a student. There's oftentimes also club activities that will meet during that time, so we really want to continue to build that complete student and give some opportunities to do that inside of our school day. I am now going to turn it over to Miss Sam Schmidt. She is one of our counselors, and she is a counselor for last names, and this is the best thing that our counseling staff did. They made it easy on me. She's the counselor for people whose last names are water, H2O. So if your last name is H2O, thank you. Thank you to that individual. Your kid's going to graduate. So Sam is our counselor for students' last names H2O, and she's got some trivia for you. So we'll turn it over to Sam.
Hi, like he said, I'm Sam Schmidt, and I'm one of the counselors here. We have 3 counselors, so one of our counselors has A through E last names. Like he mentioned, I'm H2O, and then we have P through Z. And all the counselors are here and will be in the back, so if you have questions or want to meet us, definitely come say hi. So the trivia question is, how many courses are offered at Cambridge-Estany High School? So get a number in your head, think about it. We actually have 171 courses, so that is a lot of different options to choose from. We have a variety of elective departments, so if there is something that you're interested in, I would highly recommend that you look at the registration guide and find something that you actually want to take outside of your core academic classes. So your courses that you choose are actually made or used to make the schedule for next year. And it's really important that you choose classes carefully. We only change schedules if there are mistakes on there. So for students, it's really important you pick electives that you actually want to take, not just because your friends are in them, because there's a pretty high chance that you might not even be in the same section as your friend. So just make sure you're picking courses carefully that you actually think you would enjoy. So factors to consider when you are choosing courses. There we go. So some things to think about. You want to think about time. So some of our classes require time. You want to think about activities that you're in. Think about your future plans. So if you have any ideas of what you're wanting to do after high school, this would be a good time to think about maybe taking some of those electives. Think about your interests. Again, choose things that you want to be in and not just because friends are in them. And then, of course, we want you to keep in mind graduation requirements because that is why you are all coming to high school. So what do I need to do to earn a CIHS diploma? So you have to complete 52 credits in your 4 years here, and the counselors will help you, but you'll also hear about this every single year if you're on track to graduate, the required classes that you need. Doing a different assessment, so the MCAs, I'm sure you are familiar with some of the tests you had to do in middle school, and there's more information about that specifically in the registration guide too. So what credits need to be earned to graduate from high school, and then some of the different college requirements. This is a question that we get a lot. At Cambridge Isani High School, we do incorporate a lot of what colleges are looking for into our grad requirements, but there are a few things that are different. The biggest question we get is typically around world language. It is not a graduation requirement, but a lot of four-year colleges or universities do like to see 2 years in the same language. So that's just something to think about, but if you do not feel ready as a 9th grader to take a language, there's plenty of time to do that starting your 10th or 11th grade year as well. And here are some additional things to think about when you're just planning for post-secondary education. Like I said, we kind of have a lot of the requirements tied into grad requirements, but for certain areas, such as math or science, sometimes specific colleges like to see more. And then, again, the world language piece on there. And each college will have requirements on their website, too. Earning credit while attending high school, so college credit. There are different ways you can earn college credit. We have our AP courses, college in the schools. We have post-secondary, which is where you go off campus and take college classes at a college. And then we have some articulated college courses. And so here are the requirements, especially for college in the schools and PSEO. So you have to be in the top third of your class rank for juniors to participate, and the top half of your class rank for seniors. So why it's important to know that now is because your GPA will start your first trimester of your 9th grade year, and that's how your class rank is determined. So every single trimester, your GPA will continue to change based on how well you do. So it's super important to make sure you're trying really hard, seeking out resources, getting some help from your counselors, asking your teachers for help, using directed study, all of those things so that you can have those opportunities your junior and senior year if you're looking for them. And we do have some college level classes for 10th graders as well that are specific college in the schools or AP classes. And so the process, you don't really have to worry about this right now, but there's an application, and then it goes off of your GPA and your rank. And some different benefits of taking these classes, of course, you can earn college credit, and it can exempt you from college courses you'll have to take in the future. You're more likely to graduate in 4 years from a college. It will probably increase your scholarship eligibility, things like that. And then just saving you money in classes you won't have to take when you're actually graduated and moved on. So now it is time to register, and I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Osted, one of our assistant principals.
All right, good evening and welcome. I'm going to get into the nuts and bolts so you know exactly what you need to turn in and what forms need to be ready in order for you to have your ticket into high school so that you have a high school schedule, which is super critical. So the timetable for registration, of course the information is being streamed out tonight, or you are in attendance in order to get the basic information that you need. You students will be turning in your registration materials on February 14th. So not only is it Love Day, but it's also the day to turn in those yellow forms. So we will be looking for those. You'll be turning your yellow form into your math teacher. And then students, you will be registering online at your school, and what the nice piece is Cambridge Isani High School staff will come to your buildings and help you with that whole registration online process. So don't worry about that. The dates are up there and you can reflect on that. But IMS and Minnesota Center will be February 18th, and then Cambridge Middle School will be February 20th and 21st. So this yellow form is pretty important, and you should have received it in the mail. An exception would be if I've got guests out in the audience who your child does not currently go to Cambridge Middle School, Minnesota Center, or IMS, then we have enrollment forms that you want to pick up on your way out, and then we need these forms done for the high school, and also the yellow pre-registration form will be in there. Otherwise, you should have received 2 forms. You will be completing this form in order to get your registration process done. There's 2 copies. One is your draft to keep for your records, and one is your final copy, again, that you'll return to your math teacher. And that date again, February 14th. So let's talk about, there's 3 sections to the form, so I want to be clear about the different requirements and how courses and credits and that type of thing work out. There are required courses, which Sam referenced a little bit. They're courses you must take for the purpose of graduation and pass. So just taking the course in itself is not going to help you meet those graduation requirements. They're listed on the top portion of your pre-registration form. So you'll see there, every single 9th grader is required to take those courses. So that part is already filled in for you, and you don't have to worry about that. But you will notice math is not filled in, so in a few slides I'll talk about the directions for how to know what math course to register for. And then there's a middle section. These are your elective courses. They're courses you choose to take based on future plans, interests, and they will be entered in the middle section of your pre-registration form. I know there's many booths out there in the lobby, and one thing I encourage kids and families to consider, you've got 4 years to give something a try. Sometimes it's easy to stick to something that I already know I like, but this is an opportunity to try different things, because sometimes that can lead to a career path or a hobby that maybe we wouldn't have known that we even like that area. So I encourage you to kind of go outside your comfort zone and try some different things. And then, of course, this is just showing you what that middle section of your yellow pre-registration sheet looks like, where you'll be putting in your elective courses. The nice handy thing on the back side of your pre-registration form is all of those elective courses that are available to 9th graders, they are all listed there. So if you don't have a hard copy of the registration guide, which thank you if you don't, because we're trying to save trees a little bit, and with electronically things being available, this will make it easier for you to look up different course descriptions to get a better idea of what that course entails. Then there is a 3rd section to your pre-registration form, and those are alternate courses. Some classes you may register for, they may not be available for a variety of reasons. So the alternate courses are different than your required courses and different than your electives that you've already selected. A question that comes up often, not just for upcoming 8th graders, but also for high school students, why do I have to register for alternate courses? Next year's schedule is determined by student requests. So the whole schedule is built based on students' requests. So then we decide how many courses do we need, in what departments. So that's why your information that you're providing us is critical, but it's also determined by the District 911 budget. So some classes you may wish to take may be full or may not be offered when you actually have an opening in your schedule. Therefore, we need to have some alternate courses to take their place. So for this section, be sure to choose 3 alternate courses. And you'll fill that in on the bottom section of your yellow registration form. All right, as I said, the math section has not been filled out for you. Which math class should you take? Your middle school math teacher will make a recommendation for the math class best suited for each individual student. This information hopefully has already been shared, but if not, I would guess that it will be shared this week. So students, your job is to fill in the recommended math course on the registration form. If you cannot remember or this hasn't been discussed yet, make sure you talk to your math teacher. And do realize that sometimes after some spring testing, sometimes math placement might change a little bit. So what about direct service classes? So some students are on individual education plans, and if you are, your case manager will help guide and determine which classes are appropriate to meet your needs. If you have questions, make sure you contact your case manager at the middle school because that person knows you best and what courses are appropriate. Also for tonight, if you have IEP questions, Ms. Ziegelmeyer, please wave, is back there. She is a great resource and a good contact person if you want more specific things answered about students with IEPs and what course offerings they may be looking at. Okay. Now we're going to talk about some common scheduling and what it might look like for your form. So the pre-registration form without band or choir classes. When you add up the required courses and the elective courses should equal 15. So 15 is the magic number. But do note that on this example, I'm not sure if you can see it, but on this example, there's 3 alternate courses listed, again, in case some of those elective courses don't work out. So 15 is the magic number if you have not signed up for band and or choir. I'm just going to show a sample schedule. Just again referencing, we have 3 trimesters. So you'll notice this particular math course is offered every single trimester. But English 9, there's a 9A during one trimester and 9B during a different trimester, and then that's considered to be a year's worth of English. And then you see we try to make sure like your sciences aren't in the same trimester and that you have a pretty balanced schedule. So this next one, students who are planning on signing up for band or choir. Okay, so again, you're planning on signing up for only band or only choir. Your credit total when you add up required courses and elective courses will be 14.5. Again, required courses on the top, your music choice and your other electives will be in that middle section. And again, 3 alternate courses on the bottom. Now let's look at a pre-registration form that has band and choir. You are back to that magic number of 15 credits total between required and electives. And again, your music request will go in the elective middle section. This is a common area for questions, the band and choir schedule examples. So you'll notice a student who has, for example, only signed up for band. Okay, they didn't sign up for both band and choir, they signed up for band. What we do is you'll have a day 1 and a day 2. And on day 1, you'll have, for example, band, and then on day 2 for one trimester, you probably will have a study hall. During trimester 2, then, you see, you'll have band on day 1, but on day 2, you will be given a required course such as health. Okay, and then the same thing for trimester 3. The lower schedule students scheduled with band and choir, day 1, you might have band, day 2, you'd have choir, and you would do that all year long. So a common concern is that sometimes families and kids, they worry, oh, I was only going to take band or choir. Is 14.5 credits going to be enough? Yes, it's plenty. Okay, remember 52 credits, and you've got 4 years to complete 52 credits. So the reality is you would still have extra credits. So if you want to try band or choir, we encourage you to do so. And again, knowing you have 0.5 less credits than 15, you'll still be fine. I'm not going to read through this registration tip sheet, but you should have received this in your packet as well, and these are good reminders that will help you guide the process, parents and kids, as you work together. Okay, so after you've selected your classes, again, registration materials need to be turned in to your math teacher or case manager by Friday, February 14th. If you have questions, your Cambridge Middle School counselor, Mr. O'Donovan, is available, or Miss Emmons for Minnesota Center and Isanti Middle School. As a reference, the PowerPoint, the slideshow you saw tonight, and the registration guide is available on the Cambridge Isanti High School website, and the directions are right there to find all the registration information. There are a few hard copy registration guides available in the ticket booth area, limited number again. And again, if you are not enrolled with Cambridge Isanti School District, you'll want to stop and pick up the blue enrollment form, and that will include the yellow pre-registration forms. So again, thank you for attending tonight, and we look forward to you joining us next school year. We'll be around for questions. Thanks.